Hey, Slanja, y'all. Welcome. Scotch on the Bayou. It's that time of year. It's time for the lights, the cheer, the well wishes, and to figure out what in the world you're going to give your whiskey person. Your whiskey person may very well be you, maybe one of your whiskey besties, maybe someone you need to buy a bottle for, maybe all kinds of different folks. So we're going to try to come up with some new, different, fun little ideas of what to give your whiskey person this year for the holidays. And of course, whether it's, Christmas holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, at the end of end of the year, these work great for anniversaries, birthdays, all kinds of things. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Got a couple surprises this year. I want to say hello. We've got folks in, and I'm not sure if everybody, eh, got through the tryptophan turkey hangover from Thanksgiving, but I'm glad to see Joe's Whiskey Den is in. Slancha, everyone. Hello, my friend. Thanks for being here as well. And we've got Molasses in. Awesome. We've got Melissa and Howard from Scotch Drinkers Only, and you'll be hearing more about them in a bit. Talk about Whiskey Peeps, my boo up in Bossier. Mark JG is in. Great seeing all kinds of folks. Hey, Tuza, hey, hello, and cheers, y'all, for Mr. Great Shot. Awesome. Got the folks over on the West Coast. Hey, Donna, good to see you. And I know you understand you can move a freezer as well. Any woman who drinks her whiskey neat can move a freezer, evidently. If you saw my repost of my Instagram reel this week, it was pretty funny. Tom's in Whiskey and Wine Trails. Good to see you, my friend. And another West Coaster. Hey, Rick. Great seeing you and absolutely loving your reviews that you've got coming out. So thanks for that and always sharing your knowledge. Loch Ness is in. Hello, it's a happy Tuesday. It's a happy Tuesday when we get together, right? And Rob, great to see you guys. Oh, very nice to see everybody. So yeah, hopefully we got through Thanksgiving. And I say got through because there's a lot to it, right? There's a lot of food, a lot of preparation. But the best part about Thanksgiving is being thankful and having that moment in time just to stop and say, okay, have gratitude about what we have in our personal life, in our professional life, the friends that we have. Yes, everybody has stuff going on, right? We all understand. We live in a world with lots of stuff going on, but it's really great to just take a time and say thank you. And that's what I want to start out doing, is to thank you all for spending your Tuesday nights here with me. To be part of this community, to sit at the table, because there's always room at the table. And because after all, I'm a well-bred Southern woman, and you make room for everybody. That's the way you're supposed to be, right? But truly, just the support for the channel is great from my patrons. If you saw our last show, we had two of our patrons on, Martin and Kim, doing a blind challenge. We'll do more of those. The great support that they're giving us. Then you've got channel members. Y'all have been with us for years now, and everybody who just pops on the chat contributes to that, and wants to be part of the community. Thank you very much for making it the best. I can sit here and chat all day, but we all know the knowledge we get in this chat is amazing. And I love being the conduit just to get everybody together. And so, yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. I see Taste and Sensibility is in here. Yes. Cheers, everyone. It's December. How did we get here that fast? I have no idea. And yes. And I see Fraser Thistle is in. Hello, Fraser. Good to see you. Thanks for being up late, early, depending on how it is. So yeah, we're going to be talking about some of these gifts that we can give. And sometimes you have to give them to yourself. There's nothing wrong for doing a to me, from me kind of gift. It's perfectly fine. And I want to hear from you all. I want to hear, like, there's a couple of categories we'll get through, and I'm just going to throw this one link in the chat real quick. This was a video I did a couple years ago, actually, that really got into a lot of things. But it's, I want to put that in there real quick if you'll indulge me. And this was the Gift Guide to Whiskey Enthusiasts from 2022. So that was a bit of a minute ago. But that also has some really good links to things. I've got a couple of repeats just because they're that good. But I wanted to put that. All the links that I do have of some of the products, those are going to go in the description. So check that out afterwards if you're wanting to do it. Says I had an error in Facebook, so I'll catch you later, Facebook, on that part. Yeah. So the first category I'm going to come to, this is, I don't know if you can see him blinking. If it's a bother, let me know. I don't want anybody to get, too distracted by my blinking lights instead of my blinking personality. But the first one that I want to talk about are books, because I can't get enough books. And I was really kind of hoping Graham was on here. Maybe we ought to wait a little bit, because Graham Fraser, as you all know from our chat, Graham has an unbelievable library, and he is so generous with his books. Tom is another person here, Whiskey and Wine Trail. And one of the books that I want to talk about is something that Tom sent me, and something that Graham also sent me. And there's a guy named David Stirk. So this book right here, The Independent Scotch, The History of Independent Bottlers. David Stirk in Scotland. This is not an Amazon purchase. If there's any way you can get it directly from the source, I know the Whiskey Exchange has it. But I would say, wherever you can, buy directly from the people. But this is a fascinating book because it goes into why there are independent Scotch bottlers. It does a chronicling of who they are, how they got into it, why are they doing what they're doing. In March, there's actually going to be an independent spirits festival for the first time in Leith, outside of Edinburgh. And David's involved, Roy Aquavitae is involved. The Water of Life people film will be doing a whole thing on independent bottlers. So this one is particularly exciting. And I know the Scotch Drinkers Only folks, the things that they carry, those folks are in this book as well. So David Stirk has this one. He has another one, which I don't have yet. So perhaps Santa will be able to bring that one. And that one is called Pioneering Spirits. David goes in to review and really interview those up and coming new startup folks like Rasse, Holyrood, Leith. Port of Leith. Port of Leith might be one of them, but definitely Lockley. Those newer distilleries that are really honing in on the spirit that's coming off the still. We've talked about that a lot. That is a book that I'm really excited to learn more about. Yes, Scotch Drinkers Only. You love your indie bottles, and we love that you love your indie bottles. Oh, I see VR Scotch is in. Hey, Kevin, Merry Christmas. He's my Scotch Santa Claus, I should say. That's for sure. Doing that and Christmas birthday presents. Another book last year I mentioned, or even before year last, was A Sense of Place of Dave Broom. Dave Broom is he's prolific on writing. He builds like the scenario and just like the environment. You just feel like you're there. And he has a new version of the of the 2024 version of the World Atlas of Whiskey. So it's going to be from one side of the world to the other, not just Scotch. Big anthology. So that one particularly is a good one to think about. And again, I'm going to have the list of all this, and anywhere I have links, those are going to be in the description. So basically, the cliff notes will be there. I guess that depends on which generation you are. Those of my generation, we had cliff notes. I don't know what the new version of that. Maybe the new version of that is Google. Y'all, this is like killing my head. Okay. Let's see. Time for a dram is in. Hello, my friend. Looking for hoping our stockings are stuffed with Santa's sack. Always delivers what we wish and deserve. I'll take for wish and maybe not always deserve, friend. That's for sure. Oh, molasses. This is interesting. You bought some of the whiskey bottle prints from Graham Horner. Okay. They would make great gifts. And he could found okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. If you can, I'm going to make a note of that real quick, and I'll add that to the list. I'll go back and find a Graham Horner because I'm always wanting to like try to showcase people that actually do the work and actually do the art. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. Yeah. What scotch does Papa Noel drink going cruising down river parishes for the bonfires? You know, I'm hoping we make the bonfires this year. I'm not quite sure if we're going to, but I really hope we do. But probably he's probably drinking. Knowing him, he's probably drinking rum or the sugar cane. But I bet we could get him something nice and sweet and peaty, like a Lefroy Galore. I think that would be the good smoke to go along with the bonfires. I think, what you think about that, Peter? I think that would work. Another book is something that you see a lot of us talk about. If you don't have it, this is my 2023 version, and it is dog-eared. This is my sacrificial version. The other ones are a bit more pristine. I've got my card in it. I was looking at Lagavulin last. Okay. But the Malt Whiskey Yearbook is absolutely phenomenal. This is the 2025 version. This is the new one. And our friend Ben from No Nonsense Whiskey is featured in it this year. So, yes, it does have the same distilleries year in year, but it's updated every year. And then there are articles in it. It's kind of become a little bit of a cult collector, too. You kind of want to get in on the ones that you haven't gotten before. The very early ones are hard to find. But you just get so much information and a glimpse into the distilleries. This one in particular is talking about something in the era of evaporation. So it goes into angel share and, you know, just having to deal with all of those problems. You're making this whiskey, and then part of it is just it goes poof in the air, right? Because of evaporation. So, you know, it just talks about the people. It says Adam Hannett. They talk about what they're doing at Brooklotti. And it's a great reference. It's very nice. Get this. Again, I have the link for this one. Get it from the source. I think you can get it on Amazon, but it's, you know, try to save those dollars straight to Ingvar Ronde. I'm not quite sure how his last name is. I'm going to throw that one in the chat right now. And I think this might wig out Facebook. If it does, whatever. We'll see. There we go. But I want to put these in as I get there. Hey, Drew. Good to see you. And then I've got one more publication. It's not a book, but it's a magazine. And big shout out to Hamish Malcolm, the Camp Drammer. I think that's what he is now. On Instagram, who gave me a version of this last summer. And then I had I had to go get it out. And this is the Angels Share Journal. I want to pull back so you can see all of it. Absolutely stunning, stunning publication. There's only 4, I think, out there, 4 versions, issues. So it's not something that gets a lot. It is a UK, it's a Scottish thing. So we're not going to find this in Barnes and Noble here in the States. You have to order it. You can order all 4. I think there's even like a discount by getting all 4 of them. This one I love because Callum Ray is on the front cover from Hollywood. And I did a super fun interview with him. That's posted on the channel. The photography is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, beautiful, just beautiful. There's a little bit of everything from cocktails to, highlighting Coopersmiths. So that's just this one, but there's a really good version that talks about Murray McDavid. There's one that features my man at Glen Scotia, Ian McAllister. So those are absolutely beautiful. And again, I'll just throw this one in there too. But all these links will be in, that's the wrong one. All these links will be in the copy. They'll be in, there we go. They'll be in the description. So Drew came in. I saw Jimmy Jazz is in. Awesome. That's great. Super. Oh, Peter, I'm glad y'all got to go do that at the Tucson Celtic Festival. And Delbach's okay. If you can't have Scotch, Delbach's ain't too shabby, huh? That's really good. Yay. It's good to see everybody. So yeah, books. I like books. Most people, they're all piled up. I kind of have all my reference books over here in a bookshelf, easy to grab if I need to. So that's one of the fun things. Another fun thing that came out this year, from someone in the community. Again, I like being able to support those around me. And this is a fellow over in Scotland. He is quite a nice guy too, so that's great. Matthew Bishop is his name, and his he's at Whiskey Games UK on Instagram. So we're gonna be posting all night long, y'all. So at Whiskey Games UK, and again, I'll have the link to it. But he makes, now that I opened it up, a deck of cards that are whiskey distilleries of Scotland. Y'all, the artwork is so fun. Guess what is the Ace of Spades? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Every card is a distillery. And, of course, Ardbeg would be the Ace of Spades. Gives you a little, rundown. Stainless steel, mash tun, 12 washbacks, 2 wash stills, 2 spirit stills, 2.4 rather, million liters per annum. With that, and the back of the cards all look like this with the saltier. And you've got Talisker, you've got Jura, I mean, of course, we can't go through all of them, but just to kind of give you an idea of how cool these are. And it's so, I mean, if you want these, order these like ASAP and let him know that you saw them on Scotch on the Bayou. I mean, look at, there's Kalila, there's Kilhoman. Let me know if you have these cards. Lagavulin, Bamor. They're so cool. So, I mean, that was just the spades. Then you get in, yeah, I'm just like geeking over this stuff. Um, I kind of got it where like the hearts are mostly space side. You got Glen Alecky, Glen Grant, and you get the little 411 on all of them, right? With usually whatever their corresponding Glen Alecky. I mean, truly, that building, you get that building. McAllen, Stratha Isla, Dalwhinnie, Balvenie, Glen Farkless, Glenfiddich, Glen Rothus, you know, and on. Um, but you get something new, like, and it even tells you when it was founded. Lacronza, Lindor's Abbey. Um, you've got new folks too. You've got Daft Mill in here, Glengoyne, Highland Park, Aberfeldy, Ben Nevis, Oban, on and on. And then the Joker, it even has a little, water, grain, yeast, and wood, just for whatever game you may have. Let me know. Um, Rick, I hear you. I hear you. They might be bad to play with cards because you'd stop each hand and read the card and say, "Did you know that at that Glen Turret that they only produce 500,000 liters per annum?" Are you telling me that you have what was that one? A five of spades? I mean, clubs. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Um, so Jimmy Jazz has some. You think might have another since there's only 52 exactly. um, is Longmorn in there? I don't know if they're. We'll have to look and see if Longmorn's in there. Um, and BR Scotch has got a deck. He's playing with some. I know. Yeah, but they're really good cards, and they're like I think if you get there's a discount if you get them, but they're even with the shipping to the U.S. it would be reasonable. I grabbed a couple of packs, which makes the shipping a whole lot easier. But yeah, so they're. You said, well, let me look. Longmorn is not in here. They do have the list of all the distilleries on the back. Ooh, let me get out of the way. There we go. So they're all there. So Matt Bishop is he's a barfly. Y'all would know him for sure. Whiskey Game UK on Instagram, and yeah. So this deck of cards is awesome. I love it. Fun game. Not something everybody would have. It would be good to have during a VPub. At least for the picture, what building is this? That's for sure. So, hmm. So then when you're talking about holiday cheer and bringing a little whiskey into the decor of your house, I have been collecting. Actually, let me stop there. I need to pour a dram. Can you believe I have not had a dram yet? Tell me what y'all are drinking. I already hear. Who was it? Had Longmorn. Taste and Sensibility is having Longmorn 16. Yum. Good deal. So this is going to come from Scotch drinkers only in a minute. Hope you heard that. So I'm going to pour a little. Oh, the color. I'll tell you what I'm drinking in a second. Oh, the smell. Oh, I had high hopes for this, y'all. I think we're already there. Mm, 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 mm. So decor. It's not exactly easy to go to Scotland for Christmas. So I've got a little pseudo Scotland. Unfortunately, I don't think any of this came from Scotland, but it reminds me of Scotland, and that's the point. So I have been collecting ornaments for my tree. And so I wanted to share you some of those. These I think I got at World Market, if y'all have that store. So I have this particular one. It's we can. I mean, it's cool, right? It even has a deer on it, and there's no E. Woohoo! So I have that ornament. And then I found this other one that actually is a Scotch. And I love the fact that this one has a level of pseudo whiskey in it. And thankfully, the dogs have not taken these out. And then one more, which I think is actually cool because it is a single malt Scotch. And again, we didn't have to worry about an E in whiskey. So these, I think, all came from even a 12-year-old. Look. Um, I think all of those came from World Market. And then this fella, now this one they do lose a point because there is an E. And I've thought about putting some white out, putting some white out on it. But even Jolly St. Nick knows what kind of whiskey he wants to drink, right? Just didn't know how to spell it. So I love how a little bit of flair for those who like whiskey, a bottle, ornament, Santa with a bottle, Santa in tartan. I mean, come on. But then I found this one this week and I was like, oh, I have to have him. Now, some of y'all know that Mark and I had an era of our life where we lived in Texas and we had longhorns. So I have been a sucker for a hairy coo for a very long time. Longhorns didn't have the mop of hair in front of their eyes like a hairy coo. But I hit Hobby Lobby this weekend. For those in the deep South, we all know what a Hobby Lobby is. I don't know if the West Coast or the North have Hobby Lobbies. I think it's a Southern thing. But look at this hairy coo ornament. I mean, does that just scream Scotland? Not like Mel Gibson, but even something that simple, I think, could be really cute for someone who is into whiskey and into Scotch. The thing is, I went a little overboard because as I drink my water, yes, I don't know. Do you have cardinals in Scotland? I don't think so. But this hairy coo is all dressed up for Santa. That's for sure. So of course I had to have that. And then there's this little planner that had this really cute little hairy coo here. And of course, and it has tartan on it. So yeah, again, this is not made in Scotland, but it's a little fun thing. Even think like something like this with some whiskey samples into it. Put those little bottles in there, zhuzh it up with some paper, and it's adorable, right? And then this is the one I'm so excited about. Y'all, you can tell I'm easily pleased and entertained, right? So here is isn't he adorable? But wait for it. He lights up. It's a hairy coo that lights up. I mean, can you get more commercialized knockoff of Scotland than this? So was not made in Scotland, but he's cute and I liked him, so I got him. Oh. So there we are on that for sure. But so any other ideas that you all have? So Mark JG has a solar powered hairy coo on your desk. Does his head wave or his tail wave with the solar power? Rob has cardinals in his backyard, but not any coos. And then Donna's actually found someone. She knows someone in Michigan that raises Highland cows. Oh my gosh. The Colonel would definitely work for them in that one. You bet. An electrified coo. It is. he's just got a sparkling personality, you know. It just goes all the way around. He's so cute. Love it. A cheap batteries in there. We'll turn that off. So his head bobs up and down. Awesome. You may have to send me a picture of that, Mark. That's great. So they do have a Hobby Lobby in New Jersey. Okay. I didn't know they were that far up. That's for sure. But yeah, just a little silly. It doesn't have to be anything really, off the wall or anything. It's just something that just says, "Hey, I'm thinking about you." That's what this time is about. But I also know that a lot of us, and maybe, a situation where if you aren't necessarily into whiskey, but you're kind of thinking that you need to buy a bottle for someone, that can be kind of tough, especially if you don't really know the person. Say, oh, you feel like you need to buy a bottle for your boss or your father-in-law or your mother-in-law, because your mother-in-law could be drinking whiskey too. Don't forget that. Um, so that kind of thing, you kind of want to know. It's better if you know what their tastes are. Um, if they're really into bourbon, probably peated whiskeys, peated scotch is not going to be the thing for them. So you kind of want to understand what it is. If you know that they're a Blanton's person, or if you know that they absolutely love, Jack Daniels, like something like that. What comparable do they like that you can say, okay, well, maybe they would like to try XYZ. And if you're not into whiskey and you're trying to find those type of things, finding your local retailer and going in and saying, "Hey man, I need to find a bottle and I need something that's going to taste really good." You're going to have a budget. You're going to let them know what it is. But those folks should steer you well and not just on what they want you to buy. I would say make buddies in the aisle and say, "Hey, what are you looking at?" If you are into whiskey, but maybe not that genre, like I would be hard pressed finding or being able to recommend a bottle of bourbon for somebody. But I've got bourbon friends that I could hit up and say, "Hey, tell me what I should buy for so and so." That's kind of the route you want to go to be able to help with that. But as a whiskey person, buying for a whiskey person, that's where you've got a lot of leeway. Being able to find something that's unique is not going to probably come off of a retailer's store, at least not always in my era. Yes, our retailers try really hard to have a great selection. We've got a couple that are trying to have some of the top end older items, but that's usually going to be well out of a price range that you're going to buy for a gift. You're not going to go buy a 25-year-old Glen Scotia probably just for a gift. If you are, I want to be your friend. I've been very, very good this year. But you want to be able to get something that's reasonable, that was really, really good. And you've seen them in the chat tonight, and I'm going to sing their praises on this tonight. And that is scotchdrinkersonly.com. What Melissa and Howard have done is opened up an absolute treasure trove of really good whiskey that we can get here in the States that otherwise you would have to haul back in a suitcase from Scotland. Because before that, you're not gonna find it. I mean, they're bringing in what we could not get. So for that part, I want to just make sure I'm going to drop that also in the chat, because they have some really good offerings. Back to those independent bottlings, when we looked at this book a while ago, by David Stirk, there are great independent bottlers that they're working with to bring in and be their importer for that, so we have access to it. One of those bottles is what I'm drinking right now, and that is this Drammer Bayou. 13-year-old Speyside, which was matured, finished. I'm sure it was first fill bourbon, but finished in first fill ruby port hogshead. Um, hey Ian, good to see you. See Zed Man, nice to see you. We got the Australian connection going between you and Ian. Now we just need Brad in here. Hey Tim. Uh, oh man, the nose on this thing. Tim says he often sees Highland cattle on the coastal California north of San Francisco. And you also have a Hobby Lobby. I never, it's a craft culty place, so just know that. But if you need if you need a Highland coup that lights up, just go pop in real quick, go grab it, and get out of there. That's funny. Oh man, yeah, the nose on this Bayou. So they have Drammer Independent Bottling, Lady of the Glen, which I don't know. When was that? A couple months ago. They still have these. $50 for five Lady of the Glen, 50 mil. I think they're 50 mil. Yeah. For 5 samples, and of course I've hit mine quite a bit for 5 of these of Lady of the Glen. And St. Bridget's Kirk, just really good. And I know that they still have them. You could grab one of those and go do the replay of our tasting that we had with them on their channel. It's on their channel, not mine. But very well positioned. Not only that, so they've Lady the Glen, they've got the independent bottling, but going back to this guy, Holyrood. So Holyrood's tiny, y'all. I mean, it's not going to show up. Arrival is not their inaugural release. It's not going to show up at Total Wine. It's not going to be at your John Q. Public liquor store, mom and dad liquor store. But they're bringing it in. And I mean, I'm hoping, let me know if you still have the Arrival, folks. But they also have the 2 new single cask, and I'm working, if I can get to the camp, we'll have a Camp Drammer coming out soon about those. But they're Holyrood. So I'm almost wanting to say it's going to be an auto buy anyway. So the idea is for someone, I want to say like us, an enthusiast that really enjoy different and challenging drams or unusual or just not, we're not going to be drinking the Glenfiddich 12. Absolutely great dram, not made for our palate, made for the masses, not for our palate. Not being snobby about it, just saying what it is. But when you're looking at something like this, at the price point this is, it's not that much more than what you would be paying for something else like that. It's 13 years old, and it's 54.3. It's a single cask, one cask, and it's ruby port hogshead. I mean, straight from Scotland. His nose is just like a fruit bowl. So I make this stuff for Thanksgiving and Christmas called the pink stuff. And this is definitely what it smells like. Because the pink stuff is chopped up cranberries, apples, orange, and pineapple with cherry jello and whipped cream. So it's a gelatin kind of thing. The whipped cream makes it pink. It's very burgundy and red, and then that because it's a cherry jello. And it just is very bright and fruity. This is more fruity to me than even grapey. Oops. So 54.3 does not drink that hot. I was like, what? Oh, wow. Kind of get you. Kind of get you there. Yeah, those mini packs, great gift. Super great gift. Um, the blends that they're carrying from those independent bottlers, solid, super solid. Um, so Rick just went on the site and loved seeing something like Creetown. Yes, distillers that you've never heard before, but because it's on that site, you can consider it vetted. You know what I mean? Because they've got the palate. They're working with them individually. They're not going through somebody else. They're going straight to the independent bottlers. They're picking those bottles out. They're figuring out, they're they've got some casks, of those bottles. So there's 305 bottles out of this cask. Well, Scotch Drinkers Only is getting a portion of those and being able to bring them over here. That same cask is available over there. There's probably some that are going to be all theirs. But for the most part, we're getting what is available in Scotland, without the plane ticket and the overcharge of too heavy bag coming home. One of my dear friends who is in our whiskey group here in town is not in town anymore because he found the love of his life and moved to Pennsylvania and got married. And his brother, who's like a super bourbon guy, asked me, Lee, what can I get Nate? And I'm thinking we're in Baton Rouge, and Nate was a liquor manager in Baton Rouge. So he has access to everything. He has everything, but he didn't have this. And so I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure it was either a port or a sherry Kalila that was a Lady of the Glen, I want to say, that I told his brother to go buy from Scotch Drinkers Only, and got great feedback. And the guy absolutely loved it because I knew about Nate that he liked sweet and smoky. And that profile on that bottle had his name written all over it. And sure enough, David made the purchase. It got to him. He was able to go to the wedding and hand that bottle to his brother. So that's what it's about, making those connections, helping support good people. Those folks are really good people. And they're doing a lot to bring the good whiskey into our access. So love it. Love it. Love it. We aren't doing fruitcake yet. Mark knows about the fruitcake. I'm gonna have to send you some. I do make my grandmother's fruitcake. My nana is what I called her. She was my dad's mom, and she would make a fruitcake that you want to eat. So we may be talking about that in a couple weeks. And I'll post, definitely will post that recipe for patrons. So to let you know about that. Absolutely. Tasting Billy. South Louisiana's crazy over Calandros is wonderful. It is a grocery store. Some of the best liquor stores are in grocery stores. Calandros is definitely one of those that has a lot of things that you can't find. And I would say back in the day, even more than they do now, for sure. But you got to do what you got to do, right? To bring that whiskey home. Hey, Chuck's in Malt Minion. Hey, friend, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I know some of my friends that are on now are popping in after the advent calendar we're all doing. So I have 2 Tuesdays I'm missing with that. So that's okay. Wonderful. And I thank you for that. And truly, hit them up on socials, or directly from their site or whatever. But yeah, good good stuff for sure. This is the color on this. You can sell that ruby. It's not quite orange like a tawny port. You can see there's a almost a pink tinge to it, and that's mm, mm. Oh, Rick, I saw your haul. That was amazing that you brought all that back. You know, you'd pay that if you had 2 boxes shipped from a liquor store over there. So, it's all good. You got it all. So, another thing I want to show you is something really special to me that I got around my birthday. And y'all know Jennifer, my friend Jennifer, that I met at the Iowa Whiskey Academy. This summer, we went to Austin, to Andalusia. We've gone to Victoria for that whiskey festival. We get into all kinds of stuff. So one day Mark comes in and he said, "Well, you got something from Shutterfly." And I'm like, "I didn't do nothing from Shutterfly. What are you talking about?" Jennifer put this together and sent it to me. Y'all, I was like boo-hooing. So it's pictures of us here from, this was from when we were at Iowa Whiskey Academy, when we were at the Bachelor's Ball in Austin this summer, and again up here at Ardbeg. And this just meant so much to me, to be able to put this on my wall and have it in here and just instantly remember how fun it was to be with one of my favorite whiskey peeps, my girl. So that kind of thing is really kind of cool too, doing stuff with your whiskey peeps. Goodness. Any other ideas y'all have? I've got one other one. And if you don't know what it is, it's this right here. And it's this right here. It's swag, right? It's fun. It's swag. And we even have like our whiskey coin, the Scotch on the Bayou, and the Slangy, y'all. So we still have a few of these around, mostly in higher numbers. If you have a particular number, I'll always be happy to look for them. But, and then we have this barrel tasters one I really like. It's gonna be hard to do this because it's glass. I do like this. I ordered these right when glass was like stupid price, and Glencairns were ridiculous. Like, to do the Scotch on the Bayou Glencairns were going to be like $25, $30 at the time. But this was much more reasonable, and I liked how higher proof whiskey had more area to expand in the bowl of this glass. So this is the barrel taster for Scotch on the Bayou. If you're looking for that kind of gift, then we have Scotch on the Bayou swag shirt. We have Slangy Y'all shirts. We have Camp Dram with the alligator shirts. All of those. And again, we're going to put all those links in everything, so you'll be able to see that. Yes, you want to see the mug again? Isn't this adorable? So cute. When all else fails, absolutely, gift card to a local liquor store. You bet. And that way they can shop for themselves, and I mean, they may want to decide to want to do something else. And I'm sorry. And they may want to, combine it with something that they want, or be able to buy that special bottle that they haven't been wanting to do. And your gift is going to help them do that. So that's awesome. I'm happy to report, Kevin, that these are all machine washable and they're going to be fine. So that your 7-month-old child had a moment with your long sleeve Scotch on the Bayou t-shirt, I apologize, but I'm glad. Just throw it in the wash. It'll be good as new. Good as new. That's awesome. Yeah, we had the stubby nose on the croc on our alligator instead of the pointy nose croc for sure. But it is really cool. I like that. And of course, I have to brag on my brother. He's the one who's designed the logo, the alligator, the one that's in this the thumbnail, all of that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so hit me up on Scotch in the Bayou at gmail.com on the barrel tasters and or the coin. And then I'll have a link to the Teespring site that's got the t-shirts and all, and kind of go from there. But yeah, so any other things y'all can think of? I know there's some really cool, and I do have this in the other video, but in addition to books, education is a really cool thing, and there's some really good online education events, like the Edinburgh Whiskey Academy has some modules, online modules. Isle Whiskey Academy has the Whiskey Affinity module, and those type of things are really cool as well. So yeah, the point is finding something fun. I would say there's some things to kind of stay away from. I don't know that any of us will probably use some whiskey stones. That's kind of like putting coal in our stocking, if you will. And I've been gifted those, and I appreciate the effort. But that is not how I drink my whiskey. So I'll find a bourbon person who appreciates them, and I'll regift those. But it's the thought, and it's really not. It's not anything other than the thought, and that I don't want to diss the gift, because it is the thought, but it is worth the effort of knowing who you're buying for. Again, to Mr. Great Shot's point, having that gift certificate would be great. Just a little bauble, just a little, hey, we're thinking about you. I think that would be a lot of fun to do on that for sure. So we got some fun things coming up. I'm still trying to plan after the first of the year, the shows that we've got coming up. Trying to figure out if I'm going to make it back to Scotland for a quick trip in March. So we should know more about that in the coming weeks. And that's about it. It's in the middle of the holidays. There's so much going on. We have a epic advent calendar where a group of us are getting together every night through the 25th to have and enjoy that with one another. Are any of y'all doing advent calendars? It's not too late to do one. I know it's the 3rd already, but that's also a really good gift to give someone, for sure. So you have a metal Nessie. You chill it in the freezer. Oh, that's cool, to cool down your gin and tonics. That's amazing. Very cool, Donna. Yeah, it's just those little things that remind you, kind of take you back to Scotland if you were there, and if not, just gives you that appreciation of what that experience is and where you came from. Those types of things just kind of take you back for a minute, right? I was looking, where is the other thing? Oh, so this is another, there's people that do woodwork here. This is an old stave. Another gift from Jennifer from her time when she was over in Scotland for the Springbank School. So she found this, and these will even sit in it just fine. But yeah, that kind of stuff is really pretty cool. You don't have to drink Scotch to even use something like that, right? But anyway, so Joe's doing his own advent calendar with your own selection. Perfect. That is the perfect thing to do, Joe. And even, like I was talking about with this Harry Coo tin, putting 2 or 3 samples together to give your whiskey buddies of something that you may have in your collection that they don't, that, some things you really want them to try. That's a great gift, right? I've made an advent calendar out of my own samples of stuff, not samples of my own whiskey, but samples that were gifted to me. And I can't drink enough of my samples. I have far too many of them, but I love them. And putting an advent calendar together with them, even having it in the middle of the year and not necessarily in December, that in itself allows me to go through and enjoy those samples that people gave me and be able to actually, enjoy them and get back to that person and say, thank you for thinking of me enough to give me that sample. This is what I thought about that. It was amazing. Ian says he has an old cask converted as a backboard for your dartboard. That's cool. And then 2 sets of staves grouped as a chalkboard to keep the score. That's cool. Oh, awesome. I love that idea. And speaking of advent calendar, hello, George. Yes, if you think these lights are festive, you've missed my hairy coo. So look at my hairy coo. Isn't he adorable? Oh my gosh, he's so adorable. Available for half price at a Hobby Lobby near you. Oh goodness. So before we wrap up here, I just want to know, are there anything in particular you want Papa Noel to bring you? That's what we call Santa Claus down here, Papa Noel. Any particular bottle you're jonesing for, or what you would think would be your favorite whiskey gift this year? Let me know in the chat. And also let me know what y'all were drinking tonight. I'm just saying, if you know somebody who likes a single cask port finished whiskey, okay, just so you know, this is not a sponsored ad. I just like supporting really good people. This is hella good, y'all. Melissa Howard, damn. Thank you for bringing this into the States. That's amazing. So let me know any decent dram from 1983. Well, Santa might be able to find that for you. You never know. You never know. That's cool. Gosh. Andalusia chocolate malt in the glass tonight, Joe. Yeah. I hope it was a bottle that I filled up. I know it wasn't a label I put on because the labeling was too intimidating for me. So I chose not to be part of that part. But it was a lot of fun doing the bottling and the packing. For sure. That is a hella good bottle, huh? Well, guys, thanks so much for being here with me tonight, going through some of these gifts and having fun with that. It's always nice to see what else is new out there. Again, I would say on the cards, on the deck of cards, if you're trying to get these, order them ASAP so you have enough time for Papa Noel to get it across the Atlantic. And just go out, find some odd things. Thrift stores are really good for old vintage stuff, antique stuff. That I cover a whole lot on that previous video. It helps when your mother has an antique store and she finds lots of goodies like that. So yeah, hope you had fun with this. Again, thanks for all the support, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks on the next Tuesday. I think it's the 19th, 17th. On the 17th of December. We'll be back for another Scotch on the Bayou Live. Until then, there's a wee bit left of the Dallion. And I will see you then. Take care. See ya. Slanji, y'all.